one, and we have got a brilliant session for you today, really opening up through the hips and through the front of the body and activating and strengthening through the back of the body to really help us with our posture in the saddle, keep us upright and give us that strength that we need to remain stable and elegant in the saddle, as well as equalising and levelling up our seat as well. So we're going to start off by loosening up the shoulders with some windmill arms. So one in front, one behind. We're just going to wheel them around like this. So arms long, and think of drawing really full circles inside the shoulders. So reaching away with the fingertips, last one this way, and then let's reverse back the other way. So just getting a bit of mobility and freedom through the shoulders and around the shoulder blades. So then last one. Fab, lovely. So come now to have your feet hip width or very slightly wider. We're just going to get some mobility into the lower back. So have your hands up at around chest height, just sort of laid on top of the other. With your hips still, we're going to slide the ribcage over to the side and back through centre to the other side and keep going. So back the other way. And what you want to think of here is of keeping your boobs level and your shoulders level and your hips level and still. So you're sliding sideways across the waist, a bit like your ribcage is on kind of runners, and everything is staying horizontal like a spirit level above and below. So we're just loosening into some of the extensors of the spine here and getting some mobility into the lower back. Last set. Now let's get some lateral suppleness into the spine. So if you want kind of music box ballerina arms, and with your head tall, you're going to reach over to the side like this, come back to the centre, swap your arms and reach to the other side, and back to the centre and swap, and keep going through that movement nice and smoothly. So really feeling the expansion down the side of the body, the arms really helping with that lengthening down the side of the rib cage, but making sure that you're not tipping forward or rolling back, so as if you're kind of leaning over within, sandwiched between two planes of glass, as we say, so that everything is nice and upright and the only movement is lateral. Last set. So really getting that mobility into that bit of the spine that we really need there to follow the movement of the horse. So let's set up now for some pelvic circles. So feet slightly wider than your hips, shoulders down and back of the neck long. We're going to move into a circle about the width of the feet. So sort of medium-sized circle. Now take it slowly and make sure that you're rounding off every corner of that circle. So this is doing lots of things for us. It's getting a bit of mobility into the hips and also continuing the mobility into the lower back, but also just gently loosening off the hamstrings and the hip flexors with a bit of gentle movement too. So really focusing on making that movement as round as it can be and rounding off any lumpy corners. Last one this way. Take your time, just moving with the breath, breathing naturally, and reverse it back the other way. So again, you might find that one particular corner is lumpier and bumpier than the other in one direction compared to the other. That's totally normal. Just take your time through the bits that you find stickiest and really try and visualise that circle that you're drawing with the pelvis. And just breathing naturally here, just letting everything, just focus calmly on the movement. Last one. Brilliant. So next up, you probably want your block or books, anything that's unsquashable. And you're going to use as many as you need, stacked up as high as you need for this. They're going to be at your toes, and you want to be able to get your hands flat on them. Even if that's skyscraper tall, that's all good, because you don't want to be pulling into your hamstrings. So put them at your toes, and then stand up tall. Then what we're going to do is we're going to hinge forward from the hips to put your hands firmly onto the block or books. So hinging down from the hips and placing the hands firmly on the block or books. So if you need more height here so you're not pulling into the hamstrings, please get it. Then you're going to use your abs to push your shoulders, arms, and hands down into the block. Keep pushing, shortening through the abs, tightening the front of the body so that the back of the body lets go. Count to 10. And then we will gently release, roll back up, restacking the spine one vertebra at a time, stand up tall, and then go again. Hinge forward from the hips, put your hands on the block or books, and then you're going to use your abs to push your shoulders into your arms, into your hands, into the block. So you're using the abs to push, you're not using the shoulders and the arm muscles. So contracting through the abs, working hard through the front of the body, and then gently release and roll back up through the spine again. Now you may be able after one or two to take one of your blocks or books away, but don't push it. We don't want any pull into the hamstrings. So stand up tall, and then when you're ready, hinge forward to take your hands to the block or to the floor. And once you're there, shorten your abs and push your shoulders into your arms, into your hands, into the block. All the force coming from the abs, not from the shoulders or from the arm muscles. And hold there. Should feel like quite intense work through the front of the body. And gently and softly release and roll back up through the spine. Come up to upright, stand tall. And for the last one, we're going to hinge forward from the hip. Place your hands on the block, the book or the floor. And then use the abs to push down into the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Push, push, push. We're going to hold this one ever so slightly longer. Really contracting and shortening through the front of the body to create that push. And then gently release and roll back up to standing. Restacking the spine one vertebra at a time. Brilliant. Now you can put your block away for now. And from there we're going to come to all fours. So when you line up in all fours, you want your hands below your shoulders, your knees below your hips like a box. Here we're going to inhale, then exhale to scoop the abs and arch up through the back as high as you can. Then inhale to drop the belly, head and tail lift. Exhale to scoop the abs, lift and arch as high as you can. Inhale to drop and lift the head and tail. And the last one that's plain, scooping up through the abs, and then exhale to drop the belly and lift the head and the tail. So next we're going to arch up in the same way. From here, stretch your bum halfway back to your heels and bring your quarters to the left and to the right. And then to the left, stretching long through the spine, to the right, long through that side of the body, to the left once more, and we're going to finish up with another curl round to the right, and then coming back up to centre and return to neutral all fours. So from here, come over to lie on your back. We're going to lie on our back with our feet flat on the mat to do a gentle release for the hip flexors, which for lots of us is much better than stretching them. So you might not feel that much in the moment, but trust me, it's doing all worlds of good for your hip flexors. So from here, lift your right knee up into your hands so that your hands are around the back of the thigh. The knee is at right angles. Now what you're going to do is push your heel away like you're pushing it down as hard as you can in the stirrup. The resting leg can either stay bent or go flat. Now use your butt muscles to push your heel away in that right foot, pushing 20% effort and resisting with the hands the same amount. Make sure it's your butt muscles pushing and release. And then set up to go again. So push the heel away first, then your butt muscles push the thigh into the hands up to 20% resistance, resisting back with the hands. Heels pushing down, all the work is focused in the glute, no push from the hip or front of the leg at all. And slowly release. Maybe have a little move through the hips range of movement. Set up to go again. Just the heel pushes away first, and then the muscles of the glute push, push, push to push the thigh into the hand. So you don't want any effort in the front of the leg. All of the effort is in that buttock. Slowly release before setting up for the last one. So heel pushes away first, and then use the glute to push that thigh into the hands, resisting to about 20%. So quite often less is more with this one. And then slowly and gently release and let the hip have a little move through. And then let's set up on the other side. So resting leg can stay bent or lie flat. Left thigh into the hands, knee at right angles. Push the heel away first and then push to 20% resistance, pushing that thigh into the hand, using the butt muscles to create the movement. So it should feel like quite hard work in the glute. And gently release. Have a little move through and then reset to go again. So push the heel down as if you're pushing the heel towards the floor on the horse, and then using that butt muscle to really push that thigh into the hands. And then release. Have a little move through. And we're going to go again. So pushing the heel away first. And then it's quite concentrated use of that little glute muscle to push the thigh into the hands. So the front of the hip is soft, the front of the leg is soft. All the work is in the glute. And release. And we'll just go for the last one. So push the heel away and then using that glute to push the thigh into the hands up to about 20% effort. And just take a couple of deep breaths here. Make sure the front of the hip and the leg are staying soft. All the work is in the buttock. And release. Brilliant. So just check that you still feel aligned here, that your hips feel squared off and your shoulders feel squared off and your shoulders are down away from the ears. It can help for this one to pop your hands on your abs below the belly button to have a little feel and see whether you're properly in neutral. So you want to feel that your pubic bone is level with your belly button, or the muscles underneath are kind of level and horizontal. Then bring your knees into your chest. Let me demo this move for you first. In a second, you're going to bring your head, neck and shoulders up, and then this is your move. Holding through the abs, you're going to pull the right knee in while the left toe reaches long, and then hold with the abs as you change legs to have the other toes reaching long. If you've extended your leg low and it's too tough, you can have it higher to reduce the leverage, and then change here like this. But if you can, try and have the legs slightly lower around about here. Okay? So you're going to start with your knees into your chest. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to lift the head, neck and shoulders and roll up into a ball. Abs hold you in place. Shorten from the bottom rib to the hip. Then first the right knee is pulled in, pull, pull. And then the left knee is pulled in. And then the right, pull, pull. And then the left. And you're reaching the toes away on the other foot, getting that leg as long as you possibly can. So keep going and holding yourself up through the abs throughout. Last pair. Last leg, and then come back into a ball, and then rest the head, neck and shoulders back down. Rest for a second here before we go up for another set. Inhale to prepare, exhale to curl the head, neck and shoulders up, shorten the abs, and let's go. Right knee pulls, left knee pulls, right knee pulls, left knee pulls, reaching that other leg long away, reaching the toes as far away from the body as you can. Last pair, last one, and then back into a ball, and slowly roll the shoulders, neck and head back down. Great job. So that's some great work for the abs, as well as just getting that mobility into the hips as well. So come to lying on your side, line up along the back of the mat with your feet forward to the other side of the mat. Your head can be on your up on your elbow or on your upper arm, or with a cushion on your upper arm, but have it on your elbow if that doesn't prick your neck, and your other hand in front of you for stability. I'll do the first one slowly so that you can see. You're going to pull the top knee in towards the chest, so pulling it in towards the chest, and then here you're going to push the heel down, 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 heel down strong. You're going to donkey kick that leg out behind, making sure you feel the glute muscles doing the work to pull the leg back and to push that heel away. Then pull the knee into the chest, and then the heel pushes down and back hard, using the glutes to pull the leg back. And keep going with that movement. So if you were on the horse, you're trying to push that heel down as if to touch the horse's hind feet. That's the kind of feeling that you're going for. So we're toning the seat muscles here to strengthen your leg position and control. Last one. And then bring the knee back in. Then take the knees up at 90 degrees in line with the hips, and the top leg is going to lift to hip height, and you're going to rotate through the hip to touch the knee to the knee, then rotate the other way to touch the heel to the heel. So knee to knee, up and over, heel to heel. Knee to knee, up and over, heel to heel. So this is really activating, just keep going with that rhythm, all of the little muscles around the glute and the hip that give you the control over your leg to have your thigh lying against the saddle the way you want it to lie, and to make sure the pelvis is sitting equally in the saddle. So it's quite a specific movement, but it's really activating those muscles to make sure you've got full control over your leg and what it's doing in the saddle. So this is a brilliant one. So last time for the knees to touch, and then last time for the heels, and bring the legs back to rest. Let's get into another set of the donkey kick. So take your legs back so that you're stable, bring your knee into the chest, and then the heel pushes away as far as you can using the glute. Bring the knee into the chest, and then push that heel down and back, lifting the leg as far back as you need to get that glute really firing. So bringing the knee in, releasing off down the back of the leg, and then activating that glute to push the heel as far away from you as you can. And last one. Push the heel away, and then bring the knee back in. Brilliant. Take your legs back now to the starting position, so your knees, ankles, and big toes are all aligned. So you're going to take the top leg and lift it to hip height, then rotate the hips so that the knee faces the ceiling, toes reach long, and you're going to draw small circles with the toes, brushing the heels as you pass. So really using that glute to keep that leg rotated, with the kneecap facing the ceiling. Last circle this way, and then reverse and draw the circle in the other direction. So brushing the heels as you pass, and keeping that leg as long as you possibly can, toes reaching as far away from you as they can. Long, strong leg. Last circle. And brilliant. So on your way over to the other side, come onto your back. We're just going to stretch out that glute. So the leg you just worked crosses over. Take your hands behind the thigh to pull the other leg towards you. You can put the hands around the back of the shin if you want a little bit more. And then take the hand and push the bent knee gently away and feel that stretch into all of those muscles that we just used in that side lying series. So take a couple of deep breaths here and just give that muscle a little bit of time to release and let go. And when you're ready, you can release and untangle the legs and set up to lie on your side on the other side. So line yourself up along the back of the mat. And have your feet swing forward to the other side of the mat. Your head again can be on your upper arm, on a cushion on your upper arm, or on your elbow. Bring the knee into the chest, push the heel away, and donkey kick that leg back, using the glute to create the backward motion and pushing that heel as far back and away from you as you can. So really try to reach that leg long. And imagining, as I say, if you were on the horse, you'd be pushing that heel down to try to touch the horse's hind feet, really toning the seat muscles to strengthen your leg position and increase your control over your seat. Last one. And as you come back in, bring the knee to the chest, and then bring the knees up in line with the hips bent at 90 degrees. Top leg comes to hip height, rotate to touch the knee to the knee, and the heel to the heel. knee to knee, heel to heel. And with this, you really want to be thinking about what's going on in your hip and really thinking about how much of the full range of movement and rotation you can use through that hip socket. That's where the work is and where the benefit is. To really controlling where your thigh is and where your knee is in relation to the horse and giving you full control over the full range of motion through your hip. So doing this with control, do it slower if you need to do it slower. Last knee to knee and the last heel, and brilliant. So let's get into another set of those donkey kicks. So take your legs back to the point where you're stable, bring your knee into your chest, and then your heel is going to push as far away as you can using the glute to push it back, and then bring the knee into the chest, and then drive the entire movement from all the little muscles around the seat bone. So that is what is creating the movement, and your leg is just going along for the ride, but you're activating all of those muscles down the back of the body by pushing the heel away. And last one, and bring the knee back in. And then take your legs back to the starting position, so everything's all neatly lined up. And then your top leg is going to lift to hip height again and rotate, point the kneecap to the ceiling, toes reach long, tight glute on that side, and draw those small circles with the toes, slowly and with precision, really focusing on the shape of that circle and the control of the leg. And then last one this way, before we reverse it. And reaching that leg, reaching those toes as far away as you can, trying to get that leg as long as you possibly can. Last one. Great stuff. So come onto your back and we will stretch out that glute that just did all of that work. So that leg that you just worked, the ankle crosses over, hands go behind the other thigh to pull the leg towards you, or you can pop the hands around the shin, of course, if you want more, and it's not going to give you a crunchy knee. And then take the other hand and gently push that knee away so that you can feel the increased stretch in all the muscles around the seat bone. And we're going to hang out here for a few breaths, just to give this muscle time to let go and to ease. So just breathing as much softness as you can into that hip and into that glute, sort of visualising the breath travelling down there and helping it to let go. Again, I know that's biologically impossible, it's just a visualisation which helps. And when you're ready, you can release and untangle your legs. And then let's flip over onto our front. So from the front, you want to make sure that you're all aligned, your hips are squared off and your shoulders are squared off. Shoulders are down, hands are out around jaw height and feet sort of hip width. You're going to inhale to prepare, and then exhale to use the muscles between and below the shoulder blades to lift the shoulders, neck and head up, push the pubic bone down into the mat, and release slowly back down with control. I'm going to keep going with this movement. Exhale to use the shoulder muscles to lift, push the pubic bone down into the mat, and release back down with control. Just keep going with that movement. So it's really worth focusing here in this lift movement. You want to have as little weight in your hands as you can and really focusing on that movement starting and originating and being driven in between the bottom of your shoulder blades. So having the lift really start there. Those are the muscles that we're switching on. And this is the last one we're going to do plain. So just lift, push the pubic bone into the mat, and then come back down with control. For this next one, we're going to add on some kicks. So as you exhale, use the upper back to lift and to hold. Then your right toes reach long away, and then kick the heel to the bum twice, and back down. Then the left, reach away, and kick to the bum, and back down, and lower the upper body back down. Inhale to prepare, exhale to lift using the upper back, right leg, reach long and kick, and then the left leg reaches long and kick, and then release the upper body back down. So just keep going with that movement in that rhythm. So coming up on the exhale, and then reaching the leg long before you kick, and long to go back down, and long, long, long all the way through the movement, and coming back down with control. So this is a brilliant exercise, not only to activate the muscles in the glutes and the back of the body, but at the same time, really encouraging the front of the body to lengthen so that we can get ourselves back into balance. Because quite often we're closed up through the front and we end up sort of long and strung out through the back, and actually we need more strength and stability through the back of the body than through the front quite often, which is quite often a surprise for a lot of riders. So last one. Coming up, pushing the pubic bone down into the mat and making sure those legs are long, long, long as you do the kick, and coming back down with control. Brilliant. And now let's focus on strengthening the lower back specifically. So just make sure that after all of that movement, you have got it out of alignment. Have a little wiggle to get your legs as long as possible as well. So sort of try and stretch those legs out as far as you can behind you. And then what we're going to do is stick with the right leg. The toe is going to reach so long that the leg lifts, and then use the glutes and the lower back to bring it up and to lower with control. Same leg. What you're aiming for here is to reach as long as you can with that leg. And then once you reach full length, it will start to lift. And then you use the glute and the muscles of the lower back to lift the leg and lower back down with control. We're just going to keep going with this leg for a few more reps. So the rest of the body stays completely still. And make sure those toes are reaching away throughout, and that you can feel the work not only through the glutes but also coming up into the lower back. Last one this side, and lower back down with control. Just have a little check of your alignment to make sure your feet haven't splayed out before going with the left. So reaching as long as you can before you lift, and allowing that lift to happen purely in the glute and the lower back. So you're lifting that leg up a bit like a lever, and just breathing normally here, and really focusing and concentrating on how you're making this movement happen. So really focusing on feeling those muscles get to work between the glute and the lower back. And the last one. And lower back down with control. Fabulous. Brilliant. So come back into a child's pose. And we're just going to stay here in this lovely stretchy child's pose and take 3 enormous slow breaths. So really big breaths in to feel the ribs expand and really use the air to stretch out all those muscles through the back. Make the breaths as big and expansive as you possibly can. And then empty the lungs completely between each breath. And then slowly roll the body up to finish. Brilliant. So that was a fab session to really wake up all of the muscles that we need through the back of the body, the posterior chain as we would call it, to really strengthen and activate those postural muscles for us in the saddle, and at the same time getting the muscles through the front of the body to let go and allow those muscles at the back to do their work. So really good job, and I'll see you in the next session. Hello, so welcome to week 2, session 1, and we have got a brilliant session for you today. Really open